this week, I think it goes without saying that the most important statement made by any character was by Yuamu. And that is that she said that they've got to put their cards on the table. You get it? Because it's a common metaphor that uses cards. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a card game anime. So everything in this franchise revolves around cards. Like when you say, I'm putting all my cards in a table. You get it? It's clever. It's quite ingenious if I do say so myself. Anyways, this week's episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush really put a lot on the table, and I quite enjoyed it, and I thought it did it pretty well in a way that keeps the story both cohesive while also getting you really excited for a lot of things to come and have been now starting to be worked into the narrative. So let's just start right where the episode starts, where it naturally picks up where the last one left off, where Udius and crew are talking to a mysterious girl who is very clearly Yuna. I don't think anyone fell for this. I'm pretty certain we all kind of knew where this was going. And to be fair, the episode doesn't really hide it or draw it out. It's very much when she's ready to reveal who she is, she just does it and they move on. Thank God. I hate it when they drag this shit out. Although I do think it is very funny. At the beginning, she refers to herself as Yuna-sama, not just Yuna-san or the Goha girl or any number of just like nondescript things. They specifically set up that she calls herself the Great Yuna, and I really want to see where that goes. I really hope it turns out she's like some sort of like egotistical, spoiled brat who thinks she's the best at everything. That could be a lot of fun. But yeah, no, so from there, we get a classic Yu-Gi-Oh! Setup. She reveals that she's got Sky in a bag, and throughout the episode she constantly bangs the bag and hits these people, and it's both kind of funny but also kind of legitimately like a little threatening and intimidating, just like, oh dang, she will fucking murder anybody. It's actually really fun. But so yeah, naturally she cuts them a deal. If Udius wins, she will release Sky as well as tell them all the information they want to know. And if she wins, they lose all their power, naturally because Yu-Gi-Oh! And also, Udius has to give up his dual disc. And the reason for this is because Udius's dual disc is special for reasons I can't fucking understand. I guess because it's red, but all the ones in sevens were red. So therefore, why would she not just assume it's an older model he got off eBay or something? Like, here's the thing. In other Yu-Gi-Ohs, and this is something I really missed, and don't get me wrong, I loved Roman's guitar dual disc in the last show, but I kind of missed it when dual discs were allowed to be different. Like, especially in like 5Ds, where it's like, what makes Yusei's dual disc special? Well, it's clearly an older model that he just probably found in a scrapyard and modified, thus showing you that he is from A, the slums, and also that he's smart. Why is Jack's the way it is? Because it goes perfectly with his D wheel. Because it's custom and he's rich and gets whatever he wants. Crow's is the way it is also because he probably had to customize it. Akiza, Leon, Luna use the standard for that time period, and it's different colors because of them. And those are great ways to display characterization and individual technology and why an item would be noticeable or special if only one person has it. Though still no idea where they store the extra deck, except that one weird duel where just half of Akiza's pops out to reveal one Black Rose. That was weird. But yeah, that is my little rant about my dislike of the way dual discs have been handled in both Sevens and Go Rush. But bring back different looking dual discs, please. But yeah, no, so that is the thing, that there's something up with Udius's dual disc, and the duel starts, and they do a good job of explaining in the universe why the dual disc is important, even if I still have no idea why Yuna would notice that. But yeah, no, so this episode does, I think, a really good job of recontextualizing Udius. So I've brought this up before, that my big issue with the character is that I think he's very all over the place, but another kind of issue I have is he's, compared to Yuga and even Yusaku to a certain extent, very simplistic and very just kind of one-noted on his ideals and everything he's trying to do, which up until now I feel like needed to be developed more for it to be relatable and interesting, and I kind of think they did this a good job in this episode. So after she's all like, oh, people around here can't be trusted, everyone's out for their own, he gets very angry, and of course, naturally, he does the friendship speech. But I just like his flashback to when he first started scouting the Earth and trying to figure out how to get his hands on duels to help his people integrate into society. And you see just how fucking desperate he is. And I like that idea of he's in a foreign land. He doesn't know anything about the Earth. He's just looking for something to help his people. He doesn't know how to interact with everyone, doesn't know how to deal with anything. And I really think it's a nice way to then show why he develops this very, like, straightforward belief all this will work. The idea that someone just showed him some kindness and helped him out and gave him what he needed. I think for what this show is and what they're trying to do with this character, that's enough for now. I do hope it gets developed more as we go, but considering the writing gets better and better, I think it will. But yeah, no, so essentially, he was handed his dual disc by what looks like a strange robot that is probably Yuga. It's Yuga. It's probably Yuga from the last show, and this opens some questions. What the fuck happened? Why is he a weird robot man? How is he related to Yuamu and Yuhi? Where is he? What's going on? What is what's her name? Asuna, or whatever her name is. Apparently some people don't like how I say it. What's going on? What is happening? I like the way this is shown here. I like how we don't put the show to a screeching halt to wonder what the fuck happened to Yuga. No, he's just this mysterious guy who helped Udius once. We'll get to it later. We're focused on what we're focused on now. And in the duel, to have her use 7 roads, that's kind of a big fucking deal. Protagonists' boss monsters are treated as the sacred expression and, like, part of the character's identity. Unless you're Firewall Dragon, in which case Danger's fucked you over. But yeah, no, it's such a big deal. So to see another character use a former protagonist's ace in this context, just kind of having it, not like Otis, who had like Dark Magician or Blue Eyes in an episode because that was that character's gimmick. Here it's just like, she's just got 7 roads. How'd she get it? What's she doing with it? What happened? Again, why is Goha being credited with creating rush duels? Like, all these interesting little nitpicks and nuggets for you to wonder about. I really like how they're handled. I really like how they don't consume the show. The whole show isn't you going, hey, remember this from the last show? This happened to it. No, everything is presented as just a part of the world. We are following these 3 kids as they experience it and learn what's going on around it. It's given to us organically and has actually been integrated into the story. And god damn it, in a world where everything is obsessed with nostalgia and being a sequel to something for 20 years ago, to see them actually want to do this right and properly really just makes me happy. As for the duel itself, I enjoyed this. I like how with each duel we see Udius's increased skill. The idea of him just using a trap to get a monster off the board and get it back to use it properly, and how that therefore allows him to attack again and they didn't misunderstand the rules as previous times this has happened in the show has, I think is a really cool thing and a really nice showing of his strategy. I like the way how he was going to use a trap, and I like that with each new spell and trap card he uses, we see that the playstyle of Galaxy monsters is being based around normal monsters. Do I love this? No, but for what it is, I think it quite works. And of course, naturally, Udius and crew lose, so therefore she takes all their dual power, walks off with a bag full of a sentient being who she is now trapped and is her prisoner, and then the other girl from the last episode shows up, where she seems to have her sinister edge back and seems to be working with Yuna. That's where I think this is going, and you find out that when you have no dual power, the gravity of the area gets really heavy and sticks you to the ground, where I assume from here our characters will be eaten. But that is where the episode ends, and I am very excited to see where this goes, see how it all pulls into a 7s, and just really wanting to see where our characters head from here. Also, was it just me, or does Udius's height change depending on the circumstances? I feel like when he's around everybody else in his, like, super powered form or whatever the fuck you want to call it, he's usually like the average height of what I assume is supposed to be like a 12 or 13 year old, because I assume that's what his age is supposed to be. But then, like, when he's in the jail, he's like 6 feet tall, What is going on here? Also, I think it's funny that it's insinuated the reason he shapeshifts into his, like, standard, like, hangout form is actually probably more to just hide from the cops who are still after him. That's what makes you my boy, Udius. But yeah, no, that's it for this episode. As for the TCG question of the week. So last week, Tactical Masters, the next deck builder set, or whatever the fuck they're called here in the TCG, I don't know, was mostly spoiled, where we saw we will be getting collector's rares for things like Droll and Lockbird, Cosmic Cyclone, Anti-Spell, and a whole bunch of new archetypes that no one will ever fucking give a shit about. My question to you is, do you like this round of collector's rares? Do you wish collector's rares maybe went more towards the newer archetypes? Or what's some collector's rares you'd like to see in the future? I kind of want collector's rare Ash, because it's so weird to me. Ash has gotten, like, no special printings. I know it's probably going to get a prismatic in the tins, but I don't know. It's just kind of weird to me how the best hand trap and one of the most powerful cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just kind of like being treated like the redheaded stepchild. My apologies to all redheaded stepchilds out there. I'm sure you're beautiful. Unless you're not, in which case I'm glad you're a fucking redheaded stepchild, and don't you forget it! But yeah, so anyways, as always, click to like, click to subscribe, and join me next time to see the boys from Jersey come save the day. Again, unless you're a redheaded stepchild.